ProTime, professional training in memory effectiveness, free memory enhancing program. Email us at wbprotime@gmail.com. If you've ever heard the expression, I've got a photographic memory, I just lost my film. Well, imagine throwing your information into the Amazon jungle of your mind somewhere and you can't find it. Powerful memory has to do with accidents. Have you ever seen or been involved in any kind of accident? It appears to be slow motion. That's the release of a chemical called acetylcholine. It's a liquefied protein similar to egg white. And during a life-threatening event, the protein enters the brain. Every single nerve that's stimulated gets coated and cooks this protein onto this nerve, creating these neural superhighways that stay in there forever. And this prevents Alzheimer's and dementia from occurring. So what we're going to do is go right into the program. 4,000 years ago, the Greek orators used to tell lengthy stories perfectly. And people were utterly amazed at their ability to remember things. Well, they didn't tell everybody how they did it, but I'm going to tell you how they did it. They used rooms in their mind called loci, and that's where we get the word location from. Abraham Lincoln used this to remember his speeches. Now, this room becomes a loci, and we're going to format this room. Position 1 will be right there, so accident 1 will occur there. Accident 2 will occur here. Thought 3 will occur here. When all 5 things occur at the same time, it creates what's called a thought. The average person only has 60 to 200 thoughts in a lifetime after the age of 18. They rarely have thoughts. They have what's called partial thoughts or partial brain activity. When you're only doing 2 of the 5, it's a partial thought. But we're going to learn all 5 of these things, these 5 memory buttons that you press at the same time, and then it makes the brain store information. Number 3 will go over there in that corner. Number 4 is there in the middle of the wall, and number 5 will be in that corner there. Quickly, if you saw a gigantic chain in this corner coming out of this room hit you in the face right now, would you remember that, yes or no? If you saw a gigantic building here falling on you, would you remember that, yes or no? You'd have to be in a coma not to remember that. Well, picture a chain wrapped around the building several times, crushing it. Out of the building shoots picture frames, and you're buried under a pile of picture frames over there. Help me, I'm under picture frames. Okay, would you remember that, yes or no? Now, over here is Mr. Spock with Star Trek, stamping the word "word" on the wall, and the word "word" is stamped all over the picture frames. Would you remember that, yes or no? And look in that corner right there, number 5. Picture thousands of pins coming out, sticking in the face. Would you feel that? The pins are stuck into Mr. Spock. The pins fly across and weld into the chain. Now, these are pictures. So number 1 is what? Right. Number 2, right. Number 3, right. Number 5, right. And number 4, right. Backwards 4s and randomly selected. Now, these are parables. The greatest teacher on earth taught in parables. Parables are picture stories that stay in the mind forever. They taught in parables so that they would see and not see, hear not hear. It was to cover up the meaning, so that only the worthy students were the ones that says, "Teacher, what does this mean?" So do we have a worthy student? What does it mean? Okay, well, here it is. We're going to reveal the secrets. Any time that you see images that are both images for a picture and word at the same time, then it stimulates both halves of the brain, releasing the chemical. Notice that the word link is written in chain. The word location is buildings, the little antenna there. Picture is picture frames. Word is word stamps. And pins is feelings. So anytime you link something, that's the chain wrapped around the location. The building has a banner on it that says location. With pictures, visual images, words, and feelings, the brain releases a chemical acetylcholine. Now picture the pin stuck in the chain up there, the chain wrapped around the building hit with picture frames, word stamp pins. Number 6 would go here, number 7 would go here in the room, 8 would go here, 9 and 10. Anytime you want 11, you just put it directly underneath the image. So directly underneath the chain would be another image. So these areas link to a loci with pictures, words, and feelings. Now, I have a correspondence course that covers 5 links to form a memory bridge, unlimited locations, 5 ways of making up silly pictures, words based on your goals, and 3 ways to intensify your feelings for about the price of a meal. And then I also do private tutoring for the price of a nice men's business suit. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and get in touch with me, contact on the video there. But I like to show you the power of reading, because in the correspondence course we have an advanced class on Power with numbers, and how to speed read and remember what you read at rates of like 400 words a minute with retention. I'll give you an example. The shortest verse in the Bible is Jesus wept. So you take Jesus, put him in one corner and a big tear in position 2. And then you lock the tear to him and in a visual image, and that locks it together. If you wrap your car around the telephone pole, you know exactly where you put it. So if you lock that image with this image, it locks together and creates a neural pathway. The longest verse in the Bible is Esther, the 8th chapter, 9th verse. Let me read it to you from memory. So the king's scribes were called at that time in the 3rd month, which is a month of Sivan, on the 23rd day, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded to the Jews, the satraps, and the governors, and the princes of the principalities from India to Ethiopia, 127 in all, every province in their own script, every people in their own language, and to the Jews in their own script and language. I'm going to follow up with some additional videos on other pictures that store, like the wars America fought, and the periodic table of elements, and 21 steps of a successful flight. And you could load up these pictures and get that powerful information and make perfect grades on every test. This teacher in a small town taught her students the parts of a cell. Every student made a perfect score. The principal found out about it and said, "What's going on? What's all these A's?" She said, "I'm teaching them photographic memory, how to store notes in a room like this on mental paper and use mental ink." He says, "Don't use that in this school." She said, "Why not?" I said, "We'll lose our federal funding. We've got to have a bell curve." Well, I believe every student should have the opportunity. So contact me on my website. And the final thing we're going to do is a little picture story for my email address. Okay? Picture a wig wrapped around a baseball, and the baseball is wrapped around a puppy. The puppy is chewing on a rug, and the rug is hitting an ox. So put the wig underneath the chain that you did before, and picture the baseball built on top of the building. The puppy is underneath all those picture frames, being hit by the picture frames. The rug is underneath Mr. Spock. And picture that, and picture the pin stuck in the ox. Well, continuing the story, around the room would be the ox would go into a tent. The tent would spew out ink. The ink would mix in a gallon of milk. The milk would hit eggs. The eggs hit a hat, which is at. The hat hits the gallon of gas. Picture a gallon of gas on mail. The mail stuck in that little dot, and then the dot hitting a company here. And the company comes back and hits the wig. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great day. Remember, wbprotime@gmail.com.